Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Al High, host of the Casual Highlight and founder of Highlight Sports. I'm just getting on here just a moment just to get my reflections on the life and times of Marty Schottenheimer. And also, before I get into talking about Marty Schottenheimer and Super Bowl 55, I do want to give you a timeline this Saturday. What I am doing is I'm going to do a live show, live Facebook, YouTube, through StreamYard. First ever live. It's gonna be on the Casual Highlight podcast. It's where I recorded. I have a special guest. Her name is Angela Wynn. She is an actress. She is a self-published author. She has written 2 CDs. Very, very talented. She's a mother, a grandmother, very talented woman. And I look forward to having her on the Casual Highlight podcast for her to share her life story, share the highlights that she has, not just to, it's really just to educate, inform, and inspire each and every one of you who are tuning. That's going to be at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time this Saturday. All right, so let me go ahead and get into it. I want to reflect on Marty Schottenheimer, former NFL coach, coached the Cleveland Browns, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Washington football team, and the San Diego Chargers. Passed away a couple of days ago due to complications with Alzheimer's. He died at 77 years old. I remember Marty coming to Kansas City. There was just to give you a background about me, a little bit, those of you all who do not know me, my name is Al High. I was born in Louisiana, moved to Kansas City when I was 7 years old. So, mind you, the satellite thing with NFL Sunday Direct Ticket, there was no such thing where there was no NFL Network, there was no NFL Red Zone where you can jump to this game, jump to that game. There was nothing like that back in the early 90s. May have been, but it was probably really, really expensive. And we couldn't afford it. My mom was in seminary school in Kansas City. So the team that I had to gravitate to was the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, previously, for those of you all know, I was a Saints fan. I remember sitting down watching games when I was 6 years old, watching the Dome Patrol, watching Jim Moore, watching Bobby Hebert, watching the Bless You Boys. I remember that stuff, watching what the Saints would do. And then watching the Cowboys, because they were down in the early 90s. Matter of fact, I had a starter jacket in first grade, and starter was a popular thing. And my starter jacket was stolen. Never forget that. That was in first grade. Dallas Cowboy jacket. My mom got upset with me. I'm like, Mom, I just put the jacket on the rack and it just went. I don't know what happened to it. So I didn't have it was, Louisiana cold. It was cold outside. It was just very cold going to school in the waters. Anyway, neither here nor there. That was my early sports memories. But then moving to Kansas City, I remember I had seen there was another red team called the Washington football team. I'm not going to say their old nickname, but I was like, when I first got to Kansas City and I got to my mom's apartment, I said, "Hey, Mom, that looked like the Washington team." It's like, "No, that's the Chiefs." I'm like, "Who's the Chiefs?" So I got acclimated and adapted to the Kansas City Chiefs. Marty Schottenheimer, Joe Montana, Marcus Allen. They had Willie Davis, J.J. Burden. The defense, Neil Smith, the great Derek Thomas was on that defense, legendary, and Coach Marty Schottenheimer. And I remember that first year I was in Kansas City. I remember they beat Pittsburgh in the wild card. They beat Houston. I watched that entire game with the Houston Oilers, and they lost to Buffalo. I'm like, dang, Buffalo got to go back to the Super Bowl. Darn it. But I became a Chiefs fan partly because I couldn't watch the Saints play. I couldn't watch any of the Saints games because the local market was Kansas City. And if they played the NFC game on TV, the NFC game was going to be the Dallas Cowboys. And then later on, when the Rams left Los Angeles, they went to St. Louis, and they became the St. Louis Rams. So we had to watch either the Cowboys or the Rams. I'm not feeling either one of those teams. Anyway, but I enjoyed Marty Ball. I enjoyed his coaching, watching him on the sidelines, going up and down the sidelines. I enjoyed, consistency and winning. I didn't like the fact that we always came up short in the playoffs. I didn't like that. But I loved his commitment to his players. He loved his players. I loved the excellence. I love the words, "There's a gleam, man. There's a gleam." I enjoyed that with Marty Schottenheimer. And even after he left Kansas City, he went to Washington for a year. I rooted for him when he was in San Diego, and they went 14-2. I was rooting for him then. I'm like, man, he has the MVP named LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm like, man, I wanted to see Marty go to Super Bowl and get the ring. And unfortunately, they didn't do it. And I was just like, man. Then he ended up retiring. And I started following his son, Brian Schottenheimer, who's still in the NFL now. He's with Jacksonville. And so I followed his career. But I've always had an admiration for Marty Schottenheimer because of his consistency to excellence, him and Carl Peterson. They couldn't figure out, when I started watching them, the offense was okay and decent. And then when Montana left and they went to Bono, I wasn't feeling the Bono thing. And then they had Elvis Gerbach, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling the Elvis Gerbach thing. I went through that. And really, you got to look at what Marty did. Prior to Marty Schottenheimer coming to Kansas City, him and Carl Peterson, there was a lot of losing. There was years of losing. The 80s was not good to the Kansas City Chiefs. And if I historically going back, the last really good years was when Hank Stram was the coach. I think they may have snuck in one or two times in the playoffs, but it really was not that good. It wasn't until Carl Peterson came in and Marty Schottenheimer. Those two gentlemen came in, gutted the thing out, rebuilt that defense up. I mean, Arrowhead became sold out. Arrowhead became, but it started with the rebuilding. It started with Marty Schottenheimer. It started with those two, Carl Peterson. So, man, for the Chiefs to finally win the Super Bowl last year, and to have this amount of consistency, 3 AFC Championship games, hosting all 3 AFC Championship games at home, that's amazing. And we got to go back to where the roots was. It was planted, and the thing started turning partly because of Marty Schottenheimer and the culture that he brought. The fans, from reading history books, the fans began to come back to Arrowhead. The fans already loved the Kansas City Chiefs, but with Marty Ball and tough defense and bringing the lunch pail to work, man, it took it to a different level for me. It took it to a different level for the city of Kansas City. And he's going to be, I hate, everybody's going to have to face death. It's 100% chance that everybody who's listening to this stream, myself, 100% chance that we're all going to die. But it's what you do with it what do you do while you're living? And he created great relationships with other people. Not only they were winning, but he created great relationships with people in the community, with his players. He listened to his players. He brought the best out of them, and they loved playing for him. So rest in peace to Marty Schottenheimer. Thank you, sir, because I was able to watch Chiefs football games because of you. and because of what you did for the team and you being consistent in what you're doing. So thank you, Coach Schottenheimer. Prayers and condolences to his family and his friends. Now let's talk about Super Bowl 55 and my thoughts in regards to the game. The Chiefs did lose 31-9. Some of you all might be thinking I'm like disappointed, like, oh my God, it's over for us. I'm not really worried about it. I'm just glad, like, I look at it now. Patrick Mahomes has been to 2 Super Bowls, three AFC championships, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl title. And he's 20. He's about to be 26 this year. How many times has Drew Brees been to a Super Bowl? How many times has Aaron Rodgers been to a Super Bowl? They've only been once. Patrick Mahomes has been twice. And we pretty much have the same offensive team coming back. We got to clean some things up defensively. We're going to lose some players in the offseason. But I believe they're going to be much better. And I think the key thing that the Chiefs do need to work on is the run game, because the run game really exposed themselves for Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, to be throwing 49 times, and the strength was our throwing game and not running. And our line, we had issues with the line. We had major injuries on the line. I believe that Andy Reid has to get back to that, how he did a lot of screen passes. I believe he has to mix that in with in the backfield with Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield. I believe he has to do that in order for the Chiefs to continue to preserve Patrick, to give him pieces around, him, so he won't always have to be on his back and on the run throwing the football. I think that's one weakness that we do need to work on in the area of linebackers. I think our corners and safeties are solid, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in free agency. I do know we're going to probably lose a couple of receivers, but I do think that we need to work on the line. We need to work on getting some big body wide receivers, at least maybe 1 or 2 in free agency. But I'm not really tripping about it. I'm not really tripping about the Chiefs. They got beat 31-9. It is what it is. We can't. They just didn't show up for work that day. Part of it, they didn't show up for work that day. There was a lot of, some of them were nervous. They didn't switch things up with the game plan. It was several things. Tampa Bay was just a better team that day. You got to look at it. Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings now, 7-time champion. Out of all 7 championships, this championship Super Bowl, was by far the biggest win for him. We look at his first 3 Super Bowls, he got bailed out by Adam Vinatieri. You look at the 4th Super Bowl, he won that by courtesy of Malcolm Butler. The 5th Super Bowl, he came back and had to win that one. That 6th Super Bowl, the one in Atlanta, when they played the Rams, that was a close game. I think that was 16-6. That was a boring Super Bowl. But to me, this particular Super Bowl, this was just a beatdown. He's never had it. Throwing 2 touchdowns to Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, and the touchdown to Antonio Brown, and having no answers on the other side. This was the easiest one for him, the easiest ring, and he's going to come back next year and do it. So, with that being said, congratulations to the Tampa Buccaneers. Congrats to the fans. I'm not worried about the Chiefs' kingdom. We're going to run it back. We're going to do it again. I think I made a bold prediction. I don't know if you heard my bold prediction, but my bold prediction is Kansas City is going to win AFC West next year. We're going to see what happens LA Chargers are up and coming team. That the LA Chargers have been they've been close. It's like clock management issues with them. It's like the injuries another year. It's like they're incomplete. But now they got Justin Herbert, and I believe Justin Herbert is that one player that's going to take the Rams to a different level. I don't know. Denver has all the pieces, but they need a quarterback. They need to go after Deshaun Watson. I'm about to call them Oakland. Excuse me. The Las Vegas Raiders need to got to get it together too. They can't close out games. So this is the Chiefs' division to lose, but then the next year, I still the AFC West still comes out of Kansas City, still comes out of Arrowhead Stadium. That being said, this is my thoughts on Marty Schottenheimer Super Bowl 55. Definitely go to owlhigh.com. Check out the latest episode I did with O.C. Anderson. Also, a reminder, this Saturday, February 13th at 10:30 a.m., I'm doing a live interview with Angela Wynn. She's an actress. She is a self-published author. We're going to talk about her children's book that's out currently. And we're going to talk about a movie that she was in, a very popular movie that she was in. So be on the lookout for that. 10:30 a.m. going to be StreamYard live on Facebook and at Highlight Sports on my YouTube page. With that being said, my name is Al Hyde. Thank you for tuning in. Those who checking it out on the replay, thank you for watching it on the replay. Until next time, disrespect your senses.